What's going on, guys? We're going to talk about Wing Chun today and give people sort of more understanding towards what I got on my page right now. So you know what you're looking at. You have a good understanding of what's going on. So my fellow Gab, fellow Patriots on here, great to be teaching our free Wing Chun, Siu Lim Tao. So we're going to go through Siu Lim Tao so people get the idea of Siu Lim Tao anyways. Let's talk about your first stance in Siu Lim Tao, of course. 1, 2, 3. Come down, come up, come in. Elbows back, fist high, of course. This is what you call the goat stance. And your goat stance is very simple, very easily done. Now when you're in this position, you're going to continue being in this position throughout your whole first form, which is called Siu Lim Tao. Some people call it Siu Lim Tao too, of course. But all jokes aside, this is what position you will be practicing in. It's your basic stance. This stance will also teach you your 70-30. Do it, understanding 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 coming out, learning how to punch, learning the twist of the hand, the little steps that this brings about. There's things I want to go through little by little with y'all. But what I want to talk about right now is just understanding, what's the best thing about Wing Chun, of course. It's an attack and a defense at the same time. One of the main things you're going to realize in Wing Chun has a lot of opportunity is blocking and punching. Blocking and punching. The manipulation of your hands, very important. You've got many different forms of hands. You've got Jip Sayu, you've got Jut Sao, of course, using 2 hands. And of course my own created hands, which is cross hands. And then you also have Gan Sao. And then you have your Kan Sao. And each one is used from your left and right. So if I was to go here, twisting at my feet here. But you won't learn that until later. But understanding the idea of twisting and turning comes about and Chung Kaiyu, which is another level of experience. But that's the next level of movement. Then you've got Baiyuji, of course, Baiji, however you want to pronounce it. So getting a little idea, there are 3 different forms that you're going to understand on my page, that there's a lot of things that I might even be practicing on my own Wing Chun dummy. As you see, I built that myself, did a lot of good work with it. I sell them also, find it on my page, website, email me, and I'll do what I can. Just let me know that you paid for one, and I will talk to you about it and go through the rest with you. But anyways, understanding your goat stance, understanding your Siu Lim Tao is pretty simple. You're going to put hands and feet together. 1, 2, 3. As so, from here in this position, you're going to come down, come up, come here. Put your elbows back, tuck back, fist high, about right here. Of course, your fist in fist form. And when you come out, of course, you've got to understand your center line right here. Understanding that you're not just throwing out your fist, that your fist is coming out this way, and then when it twists, it comes here, twists right into another ball, comes right back in. And then you do the same thing with this hand, of course, coming right here into your center line, not too high, not too low. Make sure it's just perfect, because people hate it if you're not doing it perfect. Then twisting all the way around, of course. You make sure your fist, when your fist is right here, twisting it all the way around, twisting it right back into a ball, coming right back in. That's first steps in understanding, Siu Lim Tao. Okay? One of the good things about Wing Chun, we'll go ahead and just scoop down to the level, is attack and defense, which is pretty cool. Understanding your punching methods, of course. You can punch with angle punches. If you punch here, punch there. These are angle punches, of course. Understanding your palm strikes, you can palm. Understanding the simple things like that. Chain punches. And then your normal block and attack. And also the reasonable striking points, of course, is your normal punching and twisting. Understanding how to punch and twist. Moving the feet and the hips together. Keeping your hand with each other. Boom. Boom. Pretty simple. It gives you an easy instructional pattern to understand the fighting style of it. Kicking comes just about the same. In your 70-30, of course, You know, 1, 2, 3, kicking from straight, also from in to in, out. A lot of good basic practices, but for drills and stuff like that, you just want to keep to your basics. 1, 2, 3. Pretty easy. Also, just understanding your punching. Make sure you get that down. A lot of times you want to be on a horse stance when you do it, or your goat stance. Put yourself in a goat stance. Put your hands right here to practice your punching, and make sure you're practicing the 1 foot only turns each time. When I punch here, when I punch here. Either way, however I punch, you know, makes a lot of sense. When you twist into it, gives you that ability. You know, if it's not an angle punch, or if it's just a palm strike, of course, you can palm strike and twist with it. Just the same with an angle punch. You know, no matter how you punch, you're going to make a good strike. So you get the basics of this stuff down. So enjoy the video. Now you understand this positioning right here. This is your goat stance, of course. Understanding your first part of Siu Lim Tao. Understanding your punching methods, of course. Understanding your chain punches. Good part about chain punches is you can really work on those. We'll get into that later. But just understanding the basics. What you're seeing, what you're looking at, you're getting a full ride of it with the Siu Lim Tao. And I'll share what I share, but there's so much to teach about it anyways. I mean, it's just endless for you. I'm out of here, guys. Going on, guys, today we're going to talk a little bit more about Siu Lim Tao. We taught you the goat stance, understanding the goat stance. This is your goat stance right here. This is the form you're going to be in throughout your whole entire form of Siu Lim Tao, of course. It's very useful, of course. And the idea of, you know, understanding what position you're actually in. Now, I've also explained the whole positioning of the goat stance, of course, coming out just like this. You know, this is basically still representing the whole form of your fighting, more basically. As so, when you go through this form, another thing you need to understand is when you're coming here and coming here. This is representing your center line. One of the most important parts of your Siu Lim Tao is understanding your center line, of course. So one of the main things you want to do when you understand your center line is really practice this part right here, understanding that you have your center line down right here, and it's a part of your, you know, knowledge every time you do it, because it's part of the application explanation when you do these things for what Siu Lim Tao stands for, which is actually called the little idea, of course, and maybe I didn't put that out there, but again, what we're going to talk about next is going on past the punching. Of course, we've gotten to the part where we know about our punching. We understand our punching. So one of the main things we're going to go through is talk about, you know, our Fu Sao and our Wu Sao. Alright, so basically, you're going to come out for your Wu Sao like this. Now when you come about here, this is going to teach you about your inner hand. When you're within your opponent's area. Now on the Wing Chun Gummy, as I can show you here, it's within the area. So if I was to strike here, I was striking on the inside. But as we go through this, you know, it's also for the representation of understanding, you know, when you go into Fu Sao, about the cover hand. Of course, this right here will represent the cover hand, giving you the idea of your inside and outside attacking. So, in representations of that, when we be more basically outside the fight, striking from the outside and capturing from the outside. Little things about, you know, Siu Lim Tao comes about, you know, all in different directions if you don't learn how to understand some of the more basic stuff that's more actually experienced. But then again, a lot of the higher level areas where it takes more educational understanding, like for people who want to create their own Siu Lim Tao, their own Chum Kao Baiji, at some point we all come down to a point where we use our own kind of little thing, I guess, is so the rumor goes. But a lot of people stick to traditional forming, you know, and that's what really comes about. But you will recognize that some people do use Siu Lim Tao a little bit more different, and I use a lot of different things as explanation. But again, like I said, from people who even just come out this way, where you would normally just come out this way in your Siu Lim Tao. At the same time, you'll learn about this part here too. Also helps explain the idea, more better to say, that anytime you bridge the gap, more basically, bridging the gap when you go into Chum Cow, this connects it. This connects Baiji, all three forms together. By doing this one little thing, we'll continuously, connect all three forms together. So there's a little bit more education for y'all today. We're going to get on that subject and give you more explanation on the Siu Lim Tao. Hopefully that will help you out to understand the connection, help you understand more about the form, understanding your Wu Sao and Fu Sao. It'll come out, and that'll be 1. That'll be 2. That'll be 3. And then you go here, here, twisting your hand, coming right back in. I'm going to do the same with this hand. And that right there would complete that area of that application explanation for you. And that area would be so much, easier done when you do it all together, of course. If you practice it enough, you'll get the hang of it. Other than that, I'm out of here. Enjoy the free lesson. Adios. What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a little bit more about Siu Lim Tao. Everybody understands the very basic point. Putting your hands together, your feet together. Of course, coming out 1, 2, 3. Coming into your goat stance, which represents your first punch and your manipulation of your hands to the back end. Coming out again to your center line, understanding your center line. Your center line's right here. Understanding that center line area. Coming right back in. And then your Wu Sao from your Fu Sao, from your Pak Sao, from your Tan Sao. Of course, coming up and coming up with just a little bit more. Flipping around. Coming right on in to your first one. Of course, to your second one. Of course, that's the second. Right here's your second. This turns into your third. So what you want to try to understand majorly is basically coming out. 1. Of course, it's going to be your first area right here. 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 3, all together. That makes a pretty simple basic understanding for what I've already taught you from your goat stance. Well, let's talk about a little bit more of this and understand more a little about your Wu Sao, Fu Sao, understanding your outside, inside, understanding your Pak Sao, Tan Sao. Of course, what we're going to talk about here basically is, if I was to basically come out here, of course, reaching on into the inside, you have more of a blockage area. Of course, from here, I block the punch. From here, I can still jab on in. So if I was to block here and jab on in there, makes it pretty simple. So I was to turn here, jab on over there, makes it more simple even with, beginner experience. With experience, understanding also. So when you're coming out, you understand you're blocking the fist more than you think you are, more than you're just coming out this way. If you want to come out this way, you need to put more of a turn and a twist to it. But your Wu Sao and your Fu Sao poses more of a threat than you think it does, of course. When you start understanding what this and this means, when you're Pak Saoing and Pak Saoing forward to you, has more of an ability in your Siu Lim Tao. Of course, from my Siu Lim Tao, I can Pak Sao from here, Fu Sao from here, Pak Sao straight upwards, jabbing into a palm strike. Of course, just the same, I could palm strike here. Of course. And palm strike over here and come over and strike on in. Palm striking becomes a lot more complex when you start understanding, once you start finishing your Wu Sao and your Fu Sao, your Fuk Sao and your Pak Sao. Because once you come over, you're Pak Saoing, of course. You're Fuk Saoing, of course. Once you understand these levels of experience, you understand from here that I'm Pak Saoing, I'm Fuk Saoing, I'm Pak Saoing up. From here, I'm Pak Saoing, Fuk Saoing, boom, boom, boom. Boom, one-handed kind of situation. Comes in a lot more experience if I had another partner to explain to you. A lot of these things take a lot more experience from what you're hearing, from what you're seeing, because you need a partner to understand it more, to practice more. There's so many more explanations to understand once you're at your point in your 1, 2, of course, in your 3, you're understanding your boom, 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 back in. Of course, you want to understand that factor. Here I come out. One, 2, 3. 1, 2. Understanding that factor right there gives you manipulation of the hands. Boom. Boom. I Pak Sao. I come over. I Pak Sao. Again. I come over just the same. Pop. Boom. I come over just the same. Understanding the application, explanation becomes a whole lot more different in your Sim Lim Tao. This is why you need classes. This is why you need your seafood. This is why you need to come and take time, practice with me, because you need a partner who is willing to take a punch, willing to take a chance with you, even if you suck and he's better than you and you get better than he is. That's what matters, that you understand. Let's say if I was to come over and come here, right? And then I was to lap Sao over. You don't know what lap Sao means. Lap Sao means I'm going to take my elbow right here, right? From here, I'm going to match it up just the same, right here, right? I'm going to take my other hand, Tan Sao, I crossed over, right? From here, I've Tan Sao and lap Sao. So basically, what I've done here was block with the Tan Sao. Twist it over, as so when the next punch comes at me, and blocked it, and lap Sao and Tan Sao at the same time, to come over and just work my way right in there. As simple as so, boom. Work my way on the side. Just the same. So there's a lot of different expectations you're going to get from understanding your Sim Lim Tao, your goat stance. Basically what you're going to go through. 1, 2, 3. Understanding. Boom, boom, boom. Come out to your center line. Your center line's right here. Simple. Twisting the hand all the way over. Coming back in. Coming back out. Right, just right here. Right in your center line, of course. You know, twisting the hand right on over. Then coming up. Slowly feeling the motion. Feeling the motion. Twisting your hand again. Understanding the manipulation of the hands. Understanding that Wu Sao, Fuk Sao, the Pak Sao, Fuk Sao. Coming right back into your center line. Again, you're going to curve your hand over. Curve your hand over. Coming right back out. Again, curving your hand right back on to your center line for 1. And again, you're going to come right back out again for your 2. Again, you're going to curve that hand right back over, coming out again for your 3. On your third, 1, 2, and boom. Just the same. So much in this boom and that bang right there. You're going to understand your Siu Lim Tao a little bit more different. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Right? You're getting more of the understanding. Even from your left hand and your right hand. You understand? Boom, boom, boom. Right? Alright, so, even so, you're tonsilling over, right? Coming over just the same. You're getting more of the feel of the idea, which is a small idea. And that's the call of what the Siu Lim Tao, Siu Lim Tao brings, because that's what it, defines as a little idea. The little idea is telling boom, boom, boom. So basically when I come over here, and I come back here, and I come up, and I twist around, and I come back in, you have your basics right before you. There's no better way you're going to practice this without a partner, trust me. Unless you have a Wing Chun dummy and you have the knowledge and the ability that I do. Of course, that's what makes me Sifu Alexander Smith. But, again, when you understand these little things, you're tonsilling over, of course, from here. And you're tonsilling over, tonsilling over from here. And as you do so, of course, you're going to go boom, and you're going to twist some more, of course, from here. Giving that ability to lap sal over. Because your lap sal is going to be your arm, your elbows matching with their arms. What you're basically doing, you can match the elbows with the elbows, or you can drive right in with another elbow. But the idea is you're right here with that ability. So what you're understanding is even so, boom. But understanding that ability is understanding that you're right here, and then you're right here, or right here. That idea still brings out so much more an explanation of application, of understanding the point of which I have not explained to you yet. Is just 1, 2, 3, your goat stance, right? 1, 2, 3, this is your goat stance. Of course, boom, boom, up, in, and out, and out. Of course, you understand all that, but when you come up and you come around, you do it 1, and you do it 2, and you do it 3, and you go 1, 2, you're trying to understand that boom, and that boom. Of course, 1, 2, have a little more relaxation. What I'm trying to say is basically what we're trying to get through your head here real quick. We're doing this in different segments, making sure you understand. Put your hands and feet together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Your goat stance. Make sure your goat stance is strong. Make sure again, together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure your elbows are far back, and make sure your fists are right here in your area where it needs to be at. Of course, you're trying to make sure you understand the major parts of what I'm teaching you about Wing Chun. But when you're talking about the most important parts, when we already understand our goat stance, 1, 2, 3, that's our goat stance right there. Of course, we understand this right here is our center line. And this is what connects us to Chum Cow and Baiji. This right here, coming right back in, of course, gives us the power to understand our punches to our center line. Understanding our center line to our punches. To twisting, manipulating the hand. To grabbing that very thumb, again, and bringing that right back on in, of course. You're going to come out with the next hand, of course. Again, boom, making sure your center line straight with your hand, of course. Twisting the hand around and and coming right back on in. Then coming up, of course. Very slowly coming up, feeling the feeling. Flipping that hand right around, of course. Straight to your center line. Fuchsaling it up. Understanding the very most important part was coming about up. And that is what's going to block. That is what is exactly going to block. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 in front of our Wing Chun dummy. Come up, of course. We want to come up. If you got to get closer to it, get closer to it. But making sure when you come up that you're matching in the area where you need to match at, because you can easily twist around, come around, up, side, side, slide, side. Understanding your abilities, which are major most functions of coming up. And up is what matters. As you come around, come right back on in, fuchsal on out. Because as you fuchsal also, you're understanding from your wusao, your tonsao more basically. You're going to understand from this part when you come first out. You're going to understand, boom, I'm right here. You know, he threw a punch at me. Boom, I caught him right here. Boom, I caught him right here. Boom, 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 boom. Worked him right on in there. Even in your fuchsal, of course, when you're right here, coming on out, you're going to understand your hand right here, of course, is more right here, working your way on in, or from here, working your way on the outside. Understanding the very most important part, again, at the end of it all, from your pop, from boom to in, of course. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty simple, basic stuff. So if I was to get a right and a left, or a left and a right, either way, I would go boom, 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 or boom, boom, boom. Pretty simple stuff when you start understanding the boom and the twist on back in, because you're manipulating your hands. At the same time, you're giving blockage to the palm strike. The palm strike is very useful. It's just like blocking and punching, blocking and pumming, and blocking and striking, and then striking and palming, and going on in. It has a lot more experience going on more for it. So when we're talking about basics, we're talking about the most important basics when you go from here to here and on back on in. Understanding your 1, 2, 3 from here. Boom, 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 boom. Make sure it's center line. On back in. Center line. Right here. Right back on in. Back on up in your center line. Coming slowly up. Twisting around. 1, 2, 3, and then boom, boom, back on in, and the same thing with this hand. It's what you're gaining right now. It's a lot of experience, a lot of understanding. So you're understanding a lot of that with your hand signals. A lot of that coming about in your Siu Lim Tao, giving you the ability to boom, 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 straight up. He throws a couple punches at you. Boom, 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 right? Or boom, boom, boom. Brace it because you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, of course, brace the pop, brace the time, and then thrust the hands into the area. From here, jab yourself right in there with a bunch of chain punches. Gives you a lot of abilities right there. Okay, guys? That's part 3 of what we got. What's going on, guys? We're going to talk more about Siu Lim Tao. Of course, we've understood our goat stance. Of course, if you're not ever going to understand the goat stance, we're understanding 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Understanding your center line. Of course, make sure I'm centered with this phone line. Of course, 1, 2, 3. 1. My center line. 2. My center line. 3. Coming in. My fist. Making sure I understand my center line right here. Make sure I got my center line straight with my fist. 1. Of course, coming out again. My center line. Twisting. And coming up. Wu-saling, fuke-saling. 1. Right here. 2. 3. Understanding those very simple, easy understandings. Understanding what it means to come upwards from the inner to your first. When you come here to 1, to 2, to 3, pak-saling up, of course, all the way to your drop, 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 and then all the way up, of course, to your lan sao, to your fox sao. So we're going to talk about lan sao and fox sao in this video. We're going to go ahead and get into that. We're going to try to put the Wing Chun dummy elf in here. Understanding our Wing Chun abilities, of course. Understanding our Wu Sao and Fu Sao. One thing's for sure, from our inside when we come out, we're blocking right here, right? As we come up, we're able to punch and block. We can also throw up our hands and block. At the same time, from this very area, from Wu-Sang, from the inside, from here, as so, we can drop down, come across, strike again. A lot of more power comes in from our Wu-Sao, Fuke-Sao, understanding the boom, over, and up situation, which you'll meet this on down the line during the version of Siu Lim Tao. Of course, this all comes into accountability with the connection of your full form. Of course, the first thing you're understanding is you're blocking from the inside. And your fuke-sao, of course, from the outside. Of course, you know, you can easily work it there. You would slap down the arm, come up, boom, 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 boom. Come over, you can work it on in. There's a lot of different things Siu Lim Tao brings to its table. A lot of different things that we're going to talk about, of course. But when we're talking about coming down, we're coming down. We're coming backwards, we're coming forward, we're coming into our lan sao, our fox sao. Of course, this area gives us a counterbalance to our abilities to resituate ourselves. 2, just like a lot of different other situations, we'll also in your own abilities. But this ability itself is understanding your lan sao from your fox sao. Understanding from here to here, from here to here. Understanding your outside, of course. Understanding here, of course. Understanding using your fox sao or your lan sao as a cross hand. One of my own creations that's not explained in traditional teachings. What's so cool about lan sao and fox sao? It brings out gan sao and kan sao also brings out the ability of my cross hand center line. For if someone throws a punch at me, I catch them. I catch them. I catch them and I catch them. Either way, I can drag them to the ground. Doesn't matter to me. Once you start understanding, though, once you come down here, you come down here, this is your most important part of understanding to your next steps of your Siu Lim Tao. Once you come from here, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. And then same thing with this hand. Then after, 1, 2. From here is what you're teaching. If they grab you here, basically, instead of just jerking back, you're jerking down. What you're learning is boom, pretty simple. Jerking downwards. You're getting that simple basic understanding. Even so, if you come up here and you get grabbed, and if you do throw yourself over, you can cross hands across, grabbing the other hand to working your way on in there. There's a lot of little different things that I put into my own Siu Lim Tao that connects to my cross hand. Sorry about the background again. Anyways, the point is understanding your 1, 2 from here. When you're coming up, you're grabbed. From here, easily. Because you're going to twist here and you're going to get grabbed. From here, you're just going to jerk down, work yourself on over. Get an easy way of striking. Very simple stuff. So, when we're talking about our back, though, from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, however you do it, either way, the point is once you go backwards, understanding your back arm drills of elbowing, grabbing to the strike fist, to a angle strike. As one would know it, boom, boom. And you can angle strike this way, angle strike that way. You're understanding from here, you know, they grab this arm from here, you're striking here. From here, you're dealing with different opponents. Even Siu Lim Tao brings in multiple opponents, which is so weird about the first form. You know, of course, the first form is going to bring in a lot of different issues, a lot of different definitions, descriptions. From here, from going from here to here to here, or from here to here, you're going to understand that back arm here, they grab you here, you strike here. You strike there, you strike there, you strike there. You're giving more of an attack. They grab you here, you're trying to strike backwards, more basically. You're getting more of a basic strike. Understanding your forward motion, of course. Your forward motion is your most important part. So when you're Siu Lim Tao, when you go from here, here, to here, and here, this is where this leg comes in part. You're blocking that leg. So basically, from here, you're boom, boom. You're blocking that leg. Boom, boom. Working your way on over. A lot of good stuff with your Siu Lim Tao that brings it on in there. So you're understanding your forward motion is teaching you that you're blocking. Of course, what you'll understand further in the motion of Bai-Yu-Ji, of course, if you understand boom, 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 and down, and then around and come out, back in, what you're going to understand basically is in your Siu Lim Tao, from here, even so, you're talking down, talking, and working your way up there too. So there's a lot of explanation with the Siu Lim Tao. When we're talking on with our discussion about what we're talking about after dropping your hands, of course, understanding the point of victory when you are in this position instead of just thinking about, you'll yank up and come and strike. From here, if you're grabbed from this way, you're able to strike this way. Or strike with elbow is just the same. So if someone in behind you had multiple opponents, that Siu Lim Tao gives you the ability to do, you'll understand. Even so being grabbed, you'll be able to just jab right on down. Understanding your point of victory right here too is not just the lower blocked ledge. A lot of people say those, high kickers, those taekwondos, whatnot, can kick pretty high. A lot of people who practice the palm strikes and practice the striking abilities can block those kicks. You don't have to fear the rumor the very thing that in which people try to fill your head with, like a conspiracy, that you can't block a kick with a palm strike. It can happen, but at the same time, understanding your bio-G, of course. Understanding when you're throwing up flying fingers, of course, and throwing down, and still able to work your way right up there. It has so much more meaning to your Siu Lim Tao. But getting down to Lan Tao and Fox Tao. Lan Tao, left over right, right over left. Understanding, dropping, turning, dropping, up. Of course, you have a lot of flying fingers in that ability, but then coming down, up, then back in. Has a lot more ability of that understanding. When you start going even further into your Siu Lim Tao, has a step-by-step basis. Once you start working with Lan Tao and Fox Tao. Lan Tao, Fox Tao is going to give you the ability within your chest with the bar arms. The bar arms are pretty much your protective area. You can pretty much protect and block punches with this area and separate punches and work against multiple enemies. At the same time comes in my cross hands. My cross hands and bar arms, Lan Tao, Fox Tao, gives you the ability of my own creation of crossing down, crossing in, crossing all the way with palm strikes, because one of the main things I'll teach you again later on is about not just about chain punches, but I'll teach you about chain chops and the drop hand for another chain chop across the other side. I'll teach you about the palm strikes, which is a chain palm striking system, of course, and the drop to get into that system later on. Understanding your bar arms when you come out from Lan Tao and Fox Tao. Then you come down from here to up, down, up, and back, in. One of the main lessons you're getting right now is not just traditional factors too, because I'm throwing in a little bit of extra. I told you I'd do this. But you're getting my cross hands too, because I want you to understand the bar arm. I want you to understand Kan Sao from Gan Sao, top from bottom. I want you to understand that Gan Sao and that Kan Sao, that Gan Sao to that Kan Sao. So much more understanding in what I teach in my own Wing Chun, my mixed martial arts style of fighting, my own abilities. So when you start getting the bar arm, the Lan Tao, Fox Tao, you get the drop, you get the back, you get the front. Gives you so much more opportunity. So that's a free lesson. What's going on, guys? Alright, so talking a little bit more about Siu Lim Tao, of course. Understanding your 1, 2, and of course coming backwards and downwards. That is actually how you do it. Compared to how a lot of people like to do it, sometimes you'll see people do it this way. They'll drop, they'll come back, then they'll come back and come forward. It's a lot of different ways you'll see this thing, but explanational point gives you the idea again, understanding your drops. Of course, this right here, it still has so much more meaning to it, especially when you get caught here instead of just sinking down. Understanding basically this is so from a high top area. You can also come down this way, even coming down this way. Depending on multiple enemies on your side, Siu Lim Tao gives you that ability, which is so cool again. And understanding your back, understanding, basically just striking backwards. If you get hung up, someone behind you. Little basic things like that come in good hand. Understanding the forward motion, of course. Blocking kicks. You can block kicks, of course. Especially with Tan Tao and Gan Tao, I guess you could say the less. But, I just figured I'd go over it, make sure everyone gets the idea before I go any further with the explanation of, the form, of course. When you're Wu Saoing and Fook Saoing in your goat stance, of course, your inside coming out basically, and your outside, understanding those little bits is very important, especially when you're from the inside, hogging and blocking again. So if I was to come in from here, And as the puck here come up and strike and palm strike that way, it comes in a lot of hand too. So teaching Siu Lim Tao becomes a lot more cooler once you understand, once you do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, twist on in. Understanding that right here, pop, over, strike again. So you sort of have a double pop style basically set up for you, because at the same time, you know, when you block here, you can taunt out here, strike again. These little teachings right here through Siu Lim Tao and what you're catching on and what you're practicing is helping your hand ability also, you know, in your form while you're doing it through your application explanation. Understanding your application explanation for your form, basically, and understanding your center line also. So some of the most important parts of, you know, Siu Lim Tao comes about when you do the form, but then you practice it with a partner. So hopefully that comes a little bit more help with y'all guys. So we're going to talk about the rest of Siu Lim Tao. Of course, we're going to go over the first bit of it before we get started. So let's talk about our first stance here, of course. 1, 2, 3. Our goat stance, relaxing those body weight area parts, the whole arms, everything. Sort of just like the shoulders dropping down. Bunch of gravity coming down on you. Let me see if I can get this camera fixed real quick for you. Try to get you to look at my knees here. Basically, we're going to try to get you to look at the knees real quick. So from here, 1, 2, 3. Let that body just drop right there. Come out 1, 2, 3. You know from here. Here you understand. From here you're understanding your center line. Area still. From here, of course, this is normally how it's done. Of course, you can drop right down. So basically, it should look something more like this. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All the way through. All the way up. All the way in. Simple. Gripping like normal fist. And that's your goat stance. And your goat stance still between your Siu Lim Tao still explains your 70-30, of course. So understanding your 70-30. Once you understand this, you understand your center line in your first parts of your Siu Lim Tao. Go through the other videos for the rest of the stuff. But learn to twist that one foot. Put that weight right back there. Make sure your weight's all on those knees, because right now this is sort of an exercise for your knees, your body. More like doing push-ups like this, but you can do this too as a drill. To work both of those knees as a sort of a push-up for your legs. Pretty simple. I do it too. So understanding your first sections, just going through some very, very basic stuff right now to get you to the next section. Understanding coming out, not just coming out or coming out. You're coming out. Your hand is twisting more. Hand is twisting more. So if you was to twist with it, your body should still come to a center line area. Not too low, right about there, of course. And not too high, right here, of course. But from here, you come right back on in, of course, right? No. What you do is when you come out, you can twist the body or twist the arm depending on how you feel more comfortable with it. You can just twist that arm, twist that arm, twist that arm, or twist the body, bring it right back on in. Right in your center line, you're curving your hand again, learning the first part of your manipulation of your hands. Gripping your thumb across, of course, right? No. So when your hand is twisted from here, almost in a bong style position, you're coming out like this. Of course. Boom. Boom. Just trying to show you all in different forms. Let me go over it one more time with y'all so we're not too lost. Hardest problem is understanding how I do it. Of course, you're looking for how I do it. I know it. There's so many different people that do it different ways. That's what you're looking for. How do I do it? Of course, right? 1, 2, 3. Boom. 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 How do I do it? Right here. All the way across. Grabbing the bottom. Here. Twisting right back on in. Boom. Grabbing the bottom. Twisting right back on in. Pretty simple. Coming up for your Wu Sao. Your first block on the inner side when they swing outside and you catch on the inside. Understanding that part right there. Twisting, of course, because if you was to catch here, they threw the next swing at you, you can pocket from there. As you pocket and strike that way if you want to. A lot of different opportunities in that explanation. But from that twist, of course, from that twist, it can also take you from here, here, here. From that twist right here, when you twist right here, twisting under their arm after catching them here, which takes a lot of speed from here to here, of course. Even so, understanding coming out, blocking from the outside, of course. When you're blocking from that outside on your center line area, understanding your twist from here, and blocking, of course, and striking. So a lot of good stuff coming to your Siu Lim Tao, of course, after coming up, twisting the hand. Of course, you're understanding the Wu Sao, your Pak Sao more basically. Your Pak Sao is guarding this. At the same time, you're understanding your Tan Sao. Your Tan Sao can easily block this way. Understanding the simple in, and then to your Fook. Because if I was to Pak and Fook, and then Tai Sao across, also comes in handy. Another good part of coming back in is when you twist your hand this way. Of course, from this way, of course, if you was to Pak here, and twist your hand under the other arm, of course, quickly coming over it from here and twist it on over. You can easily strike and block again. So this little simple area has so much explanation right here to it. So if I was to come out, twist over, of course, and from here, if I twisted over after blocking the first strike, I'd basically, block, right? Block. Either way you try to look at the idea of coming out in your Wu Sao. Basically, understanding the grips of that area. Boom. You're gripping. You're able to do a basic block from the inside. From the inside here, you can twist, come down, strike on in. As so, understanding coming on in. After twisting your hand, of course, this is, again, once you come out here and you twist that hand goes under the arm if it wants to, or that hand just twists to a Pak Sao if it wants to, depending on how well you understand your Siu Lim Tao, of course, and it can go into a Tan Sao during the whole Wu Sao, covering the block areas of your center line, of course. But at the same time, when you're doing this, and you come over, you know you blocked, you fooked, you tied, at the same time you tied, you punched, or even so, if you come over and just manipulate the twist of the hand during a Fook Sao, you still easily, boom, Pak and strike. So much explanation for your three versions. Understanding when you first come out, of course. When you twist, coming in, that's 1. Coming in, that's 2. Coming in, that's 3. Boom, boom, back on in. So again, you'll do the same thing with this hand, explaining the same thing for this side, more basically. Coming up, of course, slowly, twisting, coming in, taking your time, of course. I'm trying to rush it a little bit. That's 1. That's 2. and that's 3. Every time you flip that little hand out there, what you're going to understand about your Wu style, once you first come out, does not count as 1. When you come out and block, this is not a first Wu style automatically. Once you flip your hand and come in for the first enter, and you come out for the first out, you put the 2 together, and that creates 1. Then you come in for your second enter, and you go out for your second outer, that creates 3. Pretty simple. And there's your, well, 2. I'm sorry about that. You can tell I'm fucking this up. Either way, you know, this does not mean your first one until you come in and out. That's 1. In and out. That's 2. In and out. That's 3. Boom, boom right here in this area. Boom, right in this area. Twisting your hand again, grabbing that bottom area. As you do, twisting, turning, coming back in, covering it with both hands. Then, of course, we understand this, boom, boom, boom. We all understand we're covering our outsides, coming down, boom, boom, or boom, however you like to put both hands down. But either way, what you're understanding from here is 1, 2, you're covering this area. So if someone kicked you from this way, you know, you can block and strike on in that way. Someone kicked you from this way, of course, you blocked and striked. Either way. Understanding your backside, boom, of course, boom with elbows, both fists, both elbows, covering this whole area. Of course, once we come down, we're blocking kicks, of course. We're blocking down, of course, from fists that come at us low. You have a low fist come at you, you just block it down, turn up, boom, 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 boom. Do it that way, or block it down and turn and strike. Or even so, block it down, pun, ton, pun, whatever. A lot of different names. But you understand this exponential area. Then you go into your lawn side. It's your left shoulder, right? It's right over left. Left over right. So left over right, or this and right. I think it's supposed to be right over left. Yeah, right over left. Anyways. Right over left. Your right over arm is going over your left arm. This basic area right here gives you coverage from this area with your elbows, understanding your elbows, of course, even coming out, of course, covers a wide area of things too, just the same right over left and left over right. Surely enough, we understand that though. That's the most important part that you're trying to get through here. So, going on with this other half of the video, we're going to talk more about, of course, the other half from after dropping, of course, understanding this whole entire area. Understanding your lawn style. It's going to start off left over right. This is my right, this is my left. It's going to go from here, making sure it's right in your center line just as the same as your normal hand stance, of course. Understanding your center line. So no matter what, it's never too high, it's never too low. Boom, you can block in your first lawn style, left over right. Block, block, of course, with elbows from fist. Completely cover the whole area you need to. From lawn style from here, of course. Lawn style does so much more than what people think it does. Of course, like I said, you can end up going into a complete chop, which where my cross hands come into. I like to throw that into my own little semi-towel. I shouldn't do that. But let's stick to traditional facts, not my own abilities. Anyways, talking about lawn style and fox style. Understanding your lawn style, of course. Understanding your center line area here. Once you're in this position, you have a lot of quick judgments from here. In this position, of course, if you end up in the position of your center line being attacked, and you was to block a fist this way, almost like jute style. If you was to go into jute style and block a center line or jip style, and block that center line strike, of course, your basic understanding is knowing your center line even in your lawn style movement. So your lawn style movement from here, of course, coming here, still blocks, of course, no matter how you use lawn style in your positioning, this whole entire idea has so much more explanation. But anyways, we're going to go on reminding you about the fox style. Fox style is totally covering this area. So your understanding from your lawn style, boom, boom, boom. Pretty simple. Your lawn style, you boom, 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 boom. Making a quick understanding within your area, of course, from this area, even from coming out, of course, as you come out, boom, in your fox style, boom, your elbows are still able to be used to the back, to block a fist, or block a strike, or even strike a person. Your fox style is straight open. And then sort of go right back into right over left, which kind of covers your lawn style again. Lawn style is basically you're understanding right over left. Left over right, I'm sorry. Left over right. As I explain, a lot of people don't explain it the way I do because I separate the two in my explanation. So a lot of people want to cover the whole area like this was fox style. This was fox style. Yeah, that was a part of fox style. I like that. And then you're like, we end up in back in lawn style. That's a good explanation. I'll give it to the teacher too myself if that's what it takes for me to pass my test. But, you're going to understand you're going left over right. Left over right, of course, back to right over left into a fox style. You're going after your lawn style right out into a fox style defending area where you're still switching your hands. It does make a difference. You're still going to get somewhat of the same product. Only difference is from your hands from being this way. You would get a better pop from this turn, or a ton from that turn, or a pop and a strike from that turn. Then again, if you thought about it, you still get somewhat of the same thing coming about. But either hand, it still has that similar of explanation and definition into the depths of it, which I'm not getting into because, again, that's why you pay me money and I teach you, and I teach you what you need to know so that you understand lawn style, fox style, understanding your drop right here. Of course, you drop, again, this is what we're going to go ahead and go into the next part of Siu Lim Tao, okay? So we're going into this next part of Siu Lim Tao, we're understanding, of course, boom, 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 in this little area right here. So if I was in this area, of course, it still covers that. My first position, which is known as lawn style, of course, I can still drop my hands down. As I go boom, boom, drop down, drop in, move style one in. A lot of good stuff that comes from dropping your hands on in. Even from your fox style, going right back on in here, as we sit into this position right here, of course, still understands. There's a lot of leverage. From if they throw out that next arm from this side against this arm is easily going to work itself that way, of course. Dropping down, of course, gives you a blockage. Understanding the blockage of your center line. You're protecting your center line from any attack. Dropping down, making sure that you're completely ready to defend yourself in your positioning. From your first understanding, your center line is your most important part. So Siu Lim Tao continues to teach you about your center line by dropping down. Dropping down still gives you, your normal punches, but dropping down can give you blocks, 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 a lot more explanation. So you kind of get somewhat of the similar stuff from here to here to here. From here, of course, you're understanding. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty simple, right? From here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Pretty simple stuff. That's what Siu Lim Tao teaches you. So you're getting it outside of the drop. So from here, they threw it out there, right? Now you're going to understand the most important part of dropping your hands this way. It's called the equal positioning. Instead of putting your hands this way in your normal positioning, of course, or in this positioning as the traditional stance would give you, basically, you're taking the backhand out of it. You're putting both hands into your Siu Lim Tao. So you take both of your hands and you put them into Siu Lim Tao, and look at you now. You're understanding your center line a lot more. Basically, almost like if you was to start your Siu Lim Tao off like this, and throwing out both your fists. I'm trying to understand that. Understand that center line. Each time, doing it like an exercise. But the exercise is not to do this, and then this. The exercise is to do this, this, this. So now you understand. But from this, you threw your arms out from your center line. So if you was to throw yourself out here, work yourself there, and then throw yourself out here, work yourself here, you still get the position point how to bring your arms right back into your center line. And your center line, after throwing it out, coming back in, dropping down, you're right in sync, which they expect a lot of perfection in Siu Lim Tao. A lot of people are going to judge you over any fucking thing. I'm going to tell you now, you know, I'm going to teach you a lot more lighter than other people, but I'm going to teach you a lot more harder than other people too. It's a step-by-step basis how I do things. It's a little bit of give and take. It's not lukewarm, it's hot and cold on one and this decision, but it's completely a full understanding to give you that relaxation. But once you start understanding this and dropping down, then you have to understand this part. From this part, you have to drop your hands. Go back up, go back down, come back in, come right back on it. So what does that cover? So after doing all of this, of course, all of this, dropping down, boom, you know, boom, understanding, dropping your whole entire area. So if I was to completely afterwards, from here, of course, blocking, even so from here, looking for leverage. The Siu Lim Tao can start basic. Go to your Chung Kao, it'll relate to your Siu Lim Tao. Go to your Baiji, it'll relate to both of them, and on and on. It all is connected once you do this, this, and this. And that's what connects it. That's what bridges the gap. And that's what makes that connected. And anything else you do that does this and this makes it connected. But once you come down, you go up for that striking point. So if I was to boom right here, and from here, of course, I want to easily twist my hands straight up for a palm, punch, pock, ton, whatever, manipulating my hands to that top, or just throwing my hands out there more basically. So I'm just throwing it out there like that, like that, like that, like that, or even just boom, or thrusting both hands into the eyes. It really does have that description, and that's what's so crazy about your first Siu Lim Tao. Drop and throw. You're just going to repeat that drop again. So from here, once you come here, you drop, up, drop. Once you come down this way, you're coming right back down. Again, one of the most important parts about repeating this part, though, is a quick recovery from other battles. You constantly got to punch. So from your first drop, you was here. From your next attack, you was here, and you quickly from here dropped, manipulated your hands, and you dropped and struck there again. You're getting that function of that ability. So then we're going to talk about the rest of it, right? This is the rest of it. This is pretty simple. This is where the simple stuff comes in. Boom, boom, boom. You know, your most simplest part of your Siu Lim Tao is just coming across with your first Pak Sao. Your next Pak Sao is going to come a little bit more straighter. You're straightening your Pak Sao from when you first did your Pak Sao. Your first park cell was done within your Wu cell, where it covered a park and a time, covered your fook, a cover, to a tie, to a ton, to a park. And then on the third one, you went 1, 2 to your center line. 1, 2 to your center line. To your center line in your beginning, that covered it. So in your beginning, after your Wu cell on the third time, you're parking to here. You're covering the facial area. So boom, more basically. And then from here, you're covering it from here. So more like in a close compass, you're closing it in more on the arm, more than on the back of the arm. But on your advanced area, from here, it's going to look like this. Boom. And you're going to come across a little bit more. She's going to understand parking out a little bit more. Boom. Not too far, but just a little bit more. Boom, of course. And then boom. So boom, boom. Some people, when they do it, they come out, they come in, they come up and park. Some people do it that way. But you can do this, then this, twisting back in, then this, twisting back on in. So that kind of covers both of those hands in a simple sequence of understanding, doesn't it? Before you get to the next part. The next part's going to be like this, this. You're going to come out with your hand, of course. Your hand's going to come out just like you're covering normally in your Wu cell. You're going to come out just covering your Wu cell. So it should look like a curve. Boom, boom, right? So make sure your center line's straight. Coming up, boom, boom, like a chop. So your first area was a ton cell, more basically. You turned up. So boom, boom, you have a chop here. Boom, boom, coming back up to this area here, more on a straight area. Then boom, hawking, turning your hand, doing the same thing with this hand. Boom, 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 hawking, coming back on in. So before we get to that part, let's finish off the part we were talking about. So boom, 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 to this next section of Wing Chun, Siu Lim Tao. Understanding the blockage, pointage of this straight hand. The straight hand can poke that shoulder. I can thrust myself, Wu Sao, from that fist. I can block it too if I wanted to. And a more advanced application explanation of my Siu Lim Tao. But to go from here to here, I'm pushing my opponent back. So more basically, he threw a fist at me, and I pushed him back, or I threw both hands out there and I pushed him back even more. So that issue becomes, instead of just driving it into him, it's teaching you, because normally if you see a guy swing at you, you can hold him at that punch. But when you're holding him at that punch, you're understanding how to push him back at the same time. So more basically, when you're getting a swing at you, right, they throw it at you, you have more of a situation there. So he throws out that swing, and I go with this hand against the shoulder area also. So this also can pop this long arm area. So I'm going to try to pop this area right here, but at the same time, this hand right here is going for the shoulder. This is what you're looking for. This is your basic. This is a pop and a pop, more basically what you're getting right here. So basically, what I'm trying to do is take my second level of my pop, of course, from here to here, after I done did this 3 times, and went from here to here, understanding from here to here, into my next level of from here to here is boom, just like that. Boom. Simple. Pretty easy. That's where it takes you to. So understanding that part is a very good part of a park and another park. Now once we get to the point from here, of course you're going to come out You want to make sure you come out to your center line more basically and come up. Boom. You want to make sure you're at least blocking that arm, I would say. Make sure you're hitting that center line. Boom from up here. Boom from down here. And then coming right back up, of course. And thrusting in. Is understanding that when you come up here, of course, right here, you catch them, right? And you're throwing your arm up, right? From here, you're punching in a quick fight. So you're punching, you're blocking after catching it and twisting that arm. You're twisting into them more basically. From here, to come back down here, it's pretty simple where you can easily, after from here, to go into there to a simple chop. From boom, boom. Also at the same time understanding another sense of the idea. It's not just, blocking and punching, but from there, blocking and chopping and just coming down. Of course, because if you was to just come down, you're doing a basic chop, 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 chopping down. You're chopping down more basically. Boom, 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 boom. Coming up. Boom, boom, boom. You don't just want to chop though. Make sure you relax your hands though. One thing I don't want you people getting the wrong idea is you don't just boom with a straight hand almost. You want to relax your wrist sometimes. Use more of your wrist actually, less of your hand. Try to use this part of your body in a block unless you have to. Because this part of your body, it's very important of your body because once you use this part of your body, blocking, see how I throw it out there instead of just throwing it out there? Throw it out there. Throw it out there like that. Boom, 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 not like that. Boom, boom, boom. You're using that wrist a little bit more than you think you are. But, in the end, you can use it either way. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to limit you on anything I'm teaching you. The idea still has so much to it. So anyways, a lot of people are going to require you when you do these things to understand the relaxation of that chop because it has potential, has a definition, has good explanation compared to using this. Just your hand so stiff. If you was to punch through this, you would have to quickly relax your hand. But if I was to do this, right, and use my wrist and punch, my hand's already kind of relaxed once I did this, to do this, this, and manipulate that hand a lot more easier. So this and this really does come in a lot of hand once you're from here, of course, and here. Because it's still going to do it with both hands. And both hands can still lead right into a bong sao, of course. You're going to wonder how that comes about. One of the cool things about this is understanding from here to here, it still covers here. So if I was to boom here and quickly come from here and gone sao from here, if I was to block here and gone sao, you'd use both hands, of course, covering that block. A lot of people are just like, well, okay, when you use gone sao, you have to use it on the outside. So if I use gone sao, I'm going to drop that driving hand here and punch there. You can only use con sao with one hand and strike. So if I was to use con sao, I'll twist this way, I'm twisting this way. They are kind of correct, but they're not fully correct. Those stages are kind of already covered throughout your Siu Lim Tao. So that's why your hand looks like this in con sao. And that's why your hand looks like this in gone sao. So what they're teaching you is not fully, as one would say, politically correct for Siu Lim Tao. Anyways, understanding those major points, And for our next section, just going on about the elbow on in, basically what you're going to get from this part here, right here, of course. Once you come out from here, come up and strike there. You can even strike, you already know the striking area. Of course, you can boom, boom, and strike right on up. Of course, you can boom, boom, strike out. It's basically meeting your opponent. What you're doing, when you feel that inside on your wu sao, that wu sao catching, it's the same thing you're giving up here. You're still matching your opponent, but instead of matching your opponent, you're lifting your elbow up. you're throwing their fist across. So what you want to do is see that opponent come throw at you, you're still going on the inside. You're still basically bong selling, but it's your elbow that you're using for a complete block. From here, you could grab in and strike in again. So if he was to boom, from there, and I catch him here somehow, and then I work it on in there, you start understanding your Siu Lim Tao a lot more than you normally would. So, he throws it in me, boom, I catch him here, right? So right here, normally if I was to do that, you have to twist with it in some form, right? Blocking with that elbow. It's not too hard to do anything past that elbow if you don't drop, come up and strike on in from that situation. You have to be fast. All this stuff you're learning doesn't base itself on strength. You're using beginner understanding. You're flowing with it. You always want to flow with it no matter what, even if you use strength. But as your beginner ability, not using strength, but the beginner idea of things like bracing it, you are bracing it. You're bracing it with one arm for a first block. From here, So from here, there's a lot more you can do from here. From here, you're already overlapped into a lap style situation. From lap style, of course, once you lap style, you can twist up, of course, to block and strike right on in. A lap style situation depends on the elbow. If my elbow was to lap over, if I was to lap over, you're going to have a lapping system. This lapping system is going to continue going on like this exactly until from when it comes from here, of course, and you drive my hand down again, and they come at me with the next hand to drive it down, because it'll come from this direction. I'll grab that hand, match it, and it'll go that direction. But you're going to get a lap style direction in this idea. Boom, so you're lap styled over. You quickly twist this hand over, quickly come over, pop, boom, 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 boom. You get a quick lap style in this little idea right here coming across. You're lapping over the arm with your elbow. So once that fist comes in, comes across, and you drive it with that twist across you can easily grab, come up, easily grab your hand, drive it down, even so, come back in and boom, drive on in. You're going to get a lot of easy stuff from that point. After that area, you're going to understand the last part. Of course, like I said, there's so much more to this. Understanding that part from blocking here, but like I said, I'm just not going to give you everything. I'm going to give you the idea which you need to understand. Even understanding the bong style that comes from it. Because once you go in here, you got them in bong style. But you got them in this position here. You got them in bong style. From bong style, of course, you can lay down that next arm when they come in you and miss it, and boom. And that's a very good basic part that people will teach you. Basically, when they throw that fist at you this way, you block it, that next hand comes at you, you've got your back hand here, you block it, you slap down the outside of it, and you strike on in. That's a basic part of the explanation of it. But anyways, you're going to go over the last end of your part with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then coming out again, twisting your hand, finishing it, understanding that it's basically covering everything you just did, but doing it with precision, good style. But at the same time, when you're doing this, you're understanding that traditional hand form of Yip Man. You're understanding the traditional form just as you would your normal form, because either way, understand going over, no matter how close you have to be to it. There is no more closer than just 1, 2, 3, rubbing those arms together. There's no more closer of a block if you had to give it that much of a block. Boom, boom, boom. In the same arm position. Boom, boom. Understanding that first position to that next position. Right here. Boom, boom. Understanding all that good stuff you just went over, the punches. Make sure you center line those punches. End it with a nice end with the manipulation of the hands. And there, my friends, is my explanation, small explanation of Siu Lim Tao. And that's from beginning to end. So watch every video that says Siu Lim Tao on it. This is going to be your last video of Siu Lim Tao right now, and I'll explain whatever I explain when I do, but this ain't a free class. I make these videos because I want to, and I feel like it. So if you really want to learn what I know, now you know I know Siu Lim Tao. And like I said, you can look it up, do whatever you want to with it. But what I just taught you was very true. Understanding that center line, understanding a lot of the punching, and your center not too high, of course. So you go from here, it's just like doing a cross, boom, boom, boom. It's going to be boom, 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 boom. Make sure you stay in that center line. Don't overdo it, just don't overdo it. You're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Understand that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Twisting the hand, coming back in. And that's how you traditionally do Siu Lim Tao. So everything I just showed you, I'm going to make a video of it later about me fully doing Siu Lim Tao so you get the idea of Siu Lim Tao. I mean, matter of fact, I might as well just go ahead and do it for you. 1, 2, 3. 1, of course. 2, of course. 3. Coming out to your center line. Twisting. Coming out to your center line. Keeping hands up, elbows tucked back. Twisting. Coming up. Slowly coming more up. 1. Coming in for a 1. Coming out for a 1. And now that's 1. Coming in for a 2. Coming out for a 2. Now that's 2. Coming in for my 3. Coming out for my 3. Now that's 3. 1, 2. Come back on in. Get up. Slowly come up. Twist that hand. Stay in your center line. There goes a 1 for the in, 1 for the out. On my 2, stay on your center line. Stay on your center line. Coming out for my 3rd. And boom, boom, twisting right in your center. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Over, boom, 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 boom. Back in. Again. 1, 2. Striking. 1, 2. Striking. Come over, of course. Come over. From here, come up, striking, come over again, striking, then 1, 2, 3, 3, twisting, and voila. Siu Lim Tao, everybody. Let me do some Siu Lim Tao one more time. One of the main things I didn't think about when I was talking about Siu Lim Tao, of course, I was probably dragging on and little things like that happen. So unfortunate, actually, when you figure about little things. Basically, in my whole Siu Lim Tao, of course, we understand 1, 2, 3 goat stance. Coming down, of course, coming up, coming in, again following through, coming around, again, following around, coming up, one, 2, three, boom, boom. Again, coming up with this hand in here, twisting it, of course. One, two, three, boom, boom, twisting, dropping, 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 coming left over right, coming out, right over left, coming down, dropping your hands this way. It's the part I really left out right here. Understanding dropping those hands from here, of course, is a good important part. When you drop from here, actually you're supposed to go up, down, up, then back in, then over, over, then another one, and another one, and again, coming up, down, up, back on in, coming up, down, up, striking again, and coming over, up, back on in, coming over, coming right back on in, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, completing the Siu Lim Tao. We got the full traditional version of Siu Lim Tao right there, but what you want to understand when coming out, of course, after from here to here, dropping here, instead of just going up, going down, is the part where you're able to manipulate your hands even further from this area. So if I was to go from my situation from here to easily going here and pushing over against the shoulders, at the same time when I push over the shoulders, I can flip my hand to a tan style again and palm strike right on in some more, or even punch. But the flip of the hands is still just a small dosage of the understanding of Siu Lim Tao. Still has a lot more to it, but no, I figured I'd go ahead and cover the full Siu Lim Tao one more time because, I wasn't thinking about it when I was doing it. And for someone who really knows Siu Lim Tao like me, it doesn't really look too good, but, like I said, small mistakes can happen. You really want to think about progress, not perfection, because perfection will come, from when you're just throwing out your hands, not worrying about, well, yeah, I did it this way, and I did it that way, and yeah, I came up and did all this. At a certain point, you'll learn to get that center line down by going just straight to your center line area, of course. Boom, just simple, understanding the twist of the arm, even if it's twisting your body into it, or just twisting the arm into it. Or even, as some people would do, of course, twisting their whole entire body, then coming back in and so. But a lot of stuff to talk about. Sometimes I just prefer not to keep videos up without another video explaining everything. So, making sure people's getting the right teachings, not, half the teaching. So, alright, I'm out of here. What's going on, guys? We're going to talk a little bit more about Siu Lim Tao. Of course, we're going to do a lot of talking still about it because there's so much to talk about. Maybe, who knows, when I'm going to bring it up to relate something to whatever. But I just want to go ahead and make another video because I felt, to give more justice to Siu Lim Tao. After all, just understanding 1, 2, 3, our goat positioning, understanding your feet pointed inwards, understanding from there, coming down, up, in, understanding your simple coming out right here for your first punch, understanding the application explanation parts, of course, understanding 1 in, 1 out, that makes 1, that makes 2, that makes 3, boom, boom, this part right here is not just the inside pox out. Of course, you can pox out here and pox out there. Of course, you can do it with the same of this hand, boom, and boom there. Still has two-hand meaning under explanation of application explanation, so more basically just the same, you know, when you understand when you're going from here to here. Of course, you're understanding pocking and pocking to how those things would work out. Just the same how it's connected to your inside and outside striking system. One of the good things I know about, you know, talking about the pox south is just basically understanding this is not just a pox south, this is the palm too. So from here, you can drive it right up, drive it right on in. Either way, it's a palm strike at the same time, giving you a lot more ability. Then again, continuing. Twisting your hand, coming in once, coming out twice, nope, coming out once. That creates one. Coming back in for the second time, coming back out for the second time, creates two. Coming back in for the third time, coming back out for the third time, creates three. 1, 2, 3. Understanding that first half there is definitely understanding your stance, of course. A lot of good stuff that Siu Lim Tao brings you, which is pretty good. Keeping your goat stance situated, you know. 1, 2, 3. Or you can, of course, 1, 2, 3. Widen out a little bit better. It's more like 4, but it is 4. Some people do it that way. They go 1, 2, 3. They come in right there, which is the good position where your goat stance is. The dropping down, of course, covers your whole area of here, making sure you're protected here. Make sure that you understand that area. Has a lot of good explanation for you from here to here. Same side from that side. Understanding from here to here, coming back, how leverage you are from striking, then going from here to forward, of course, which that kind of, once you come from here to here, with these two areas connected, and you come up here, you're circling your waistband, of course, and understanding once you go from here, you're coming up into Lan Sao, Fox Sao, again, dropping down. This little area is good because from here you can, from the outside, push your opponent outwards, of course. You know, at the same time, this part here, adding to the good stuff that you really looking for after Lan Sao and Fox Sao. After you Lan Sao, Fox Sao, of course, from this area, you know you're using your elbows, you're throwing out your hands, of course, a little bit more to your outwards, chopping. Chops, of course, boom. Even palm out if you had to. Punch there, you know, but part of the application, knowing your Lan Sao to your Fox Sao, of course, and you're turning right on down to your center line, knowing that you have that much more power. After elbows, of course, if you was to block here, from this side with this elbow, you can easily take your hand from the inside, of course, and you can pock and brace that strike in and twist on in, just boom, should be something like this. You'd probably twist from here, throwing out a chop, of course. Once you throw out that chop, you can easily come right back on in with a simple twist, of course, you know, and like you would just normally drop your hands, you know, your hands are just basically just going to drop. So you're just going to drop your hands. Comes with a lot of good explanation, understanding that stuff. A lot of good stuff in the beginning area, of course, too. Understanding this. Still blockage. This is a block. This is a block. And you can block kicks just the same. Like a Kan Sao, Gan Sao striking system. But that right there kind of covers your down low and down low. High up, of course. Can pretty much get the drift of how that can work too. But anyways, once you drop your hands down from here and you flip them out Of course, if I was to push you here and then flip my hands from here and palm strike up, punch on in, or whatever, just basically manipulating my hands from here to here gives me a lot more mobility, of course, because from here, of course, not only understanding your center line, so much good about that. But once you drop from here, of course, you're learning how to drop your hands in another way, of course. But from here, you're going to come up. So, boom, 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 coming in. And that basically covers a whole section, a whole bunch of explanation. Once you drop down, flip your hands, go up, working in a whole area, coming down, working those areas. You still have a whole mid area to work in, or outside explanation. Once you come back on in, you're understanding that your pot cells kind of change a little bit further more out. Understanding that further more out, you're still coming over, you're coming out more basically for a strike like this, and a strike like this, boom, because in the beginning you were here and here. In the second dose, you're here and you're here, a little bit more out there, cover that shoulder area, cover that, that whole shoulder part, more basically the chop in, palm in. So it still covers the palming system, of course. Palming system's very simple, If you was to palming is just the same as punching, of course. Now if I was to punch, the simple basic punching system, punching, 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 punching. Does better even when you're in the goat stance though, basically. When you understand doing this, of course, you understand doing that, very simple basic stuff. And then again, you'll follow through with the next hand, going forward, coming back on in. And again, upwards, coming upwards, boom, boom, coming back up again, covering that whole area. So if I was to block from the inside, coming on the inside, chopping down and threw out another one, from here basically, I'm going to just easily come right back up, drop it back down, and strike right on in there. So blocking from the inside, of course, is protected. From that first block on the inside, now I'm coming, boom, catching, blocking, lower hit comes at me, chopping down right here, or gumming down, whatever you want to call it, however you like to use it. And then coming back up more basically is more basically just boom, like that, because you're using your other hand. And that's why your hand, after coming up, coming down, coming up, strikes out, and then you come right back in to do the same with this hand, is because basically when you do go from here blocking it first and down here from chopping, you take the other hand, you're using it to take the attacker's hand from the outside, driving it away from you to strike on in and strike again. But, alright, anyways, like I said, you gotta do it justice, It's gotta have its justice points. Coming over with your elbows to your center line, Make sure you're coming over, boom, 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 right here, almost like a crooked little hand you have back here. So if I was to block that part, boom, strike right on in. Pretty simple stuff because my elbow did the work for me, more basically like bonging on the outside. So if I'm bonging on the outside using a bong sao attack, where a lot of people tell you different shit about bong sao, so fuck those people. You can use bong sao as an attack, a defense, and a recovery, and that's exactly how bong sao is used. Anyways. So if I was to sit here and bong sao, basically the hand over from here, I could take my other hand and go from here, and just twist right on in there. Twisting system, and the way you saw me twist, you're asking yourself, well, how did you just twist and attack that way? You take a chance of taking a hit, of course. It takes a little bit more strength to understand that one, but beginner strength, beginner understanding. You're basically just understanding this, you know, coming over, blocking as you twist from here. Of course, in this situation where you got yourself protected, even if the fist came at your face from here, you still have this hand in the back to hold it or to go over it, to again come around as so, and then strike on in there. So a bong sao basically can take you from the outside, as so as you come here, you come over to strike over. And the main thing you're going to learn is that if I was from the outside of my attacker, and I took his hands right here, and then I took his hands from there, and then worked my way right on in there, basic traditional Wing Chun is going to teach you that. This is the Yip Man way. The Ip Man way, as people movie think about his name, but his name is Yip Man. Anyways, once you start getting that down, understanding the palm strikes, still stands for a punch, a chop, whatever. Still go low, whatever. A lot of the stuff you've already did during your Siu Lim Tao kind of covers the complete motion of the movements of attacks and choice bases that bring out Siu Lim Tao. But of course, after so you're going to come down, right? Well, if you come down, right, and then you come down, you get an angle punch. So your angle punch in the end comes about, and from here, you learn the next angle punch, angle punch, angle punch. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Finishing it off, coming right back on in, of course, all the way. You know, so when you first go down, of course, you're understanding, of course, you can angle punch this way, you can angle punch that way, angle punch this way, use your wrist as a weaponry and a blockage too. Just as you would chop, you know. Don't just chop, you chop. Don't chop, chop. Anyways, point is you get your first angle punch. And angle punches can also teach you the cross hands. Cross hands, you would be thinking about my own creation. We're not talking about my own creation. There is another thing called cross hands. Basically, cross hands is like this. And the first explanation, it's used normally through Chi Sao Yu. And it's one of the practices that you use for Chi Sao. Chi Sao starts right here. Then you have, of course, I was to go from here. And I was to catch and lock in, I go into Lap Sao. From here, of course, if I was to grab again, come over, I go into elbow, Geek Sao Yu. I'll throw out some elbows, of course. You know, not Geek Sao Yu. Geek Sao, basically, after if I throw out my elbows, elbow drills, I'm sorry. After you throw out your elbows from here, you know, and from here, you would have to go from the same hand, from here, of course, when the next hand comes in at you, to catch them here, to catch them here, to catch them here. So your Geek Sao Yu drills is basically just coming down matching the next arm. So if I block the first arm, I twist my arm more, basically learning how to twist, pock, and chop from here, boom, 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 understanding, switching up, boom, 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 boom. Just continue learning your Geek Sao Yu. Basically, you know, you're learning that twist and that bong sao. That bong sao, after you use bong sao, of course, can easily twist over and pock again. Not everything's based on attack and defense. You're going to get a defense and then an attack and a defense, or a defense and an attack, or whatever not. Things are not always going to work the way they always tell you it does. But anyways, you got your angle punches, you've got your, you know, you also have your Geek Sao Yu when you do this too, because you're using the insides, boom, boom, covering it out. Understanding that more basically. So if I was to use this, boom, 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 that brings up cross hands, because cross hands are like sticky hands too. So this whole application here, at the end of it, explains your sticky arms too. Sticky arms is like this. See how my hands are going through one another? Scraping off, that's sticking. I'm sticking my hands together. Sticking my hands together. So there's a lot of good stuff you're going to get out of this stuff, trust me. Understanding your Siu Lim Tao is a lot more explanational than you think, which comes with a lot of good remembrance of other drills that help you out understanding those things later on. But, you know, people are going to ask me, how do you even know that? But Anyways, going on, of course, on your last part of your Siu Lim Tao, coming down, 1, 2, 3. Of course, some people would normally do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Make sure they leave their hands all the way up because they're basically wanting to cover this whole entire area here, or basically understanding that whole area is being protected in. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, was just do another video, bring a little bit more justice to Siu Lim Tao. You know, doing it in front of y'all bit by bit, picking out a little bit of things. But, you know, one good thing you're going to understand again, when I talked about Yu Fuk Yi, JKD thing and Wing Chun shit, but anyways, what you're going to learn before they go make themselves fucking famous over it is that it already existed in your Siu Lim Tao. So your whole Siu Lim Tao and your Pak, when you Pak here, you Pak there, and in your second Pak, you Pak here, then you Pak straight forward. This whole area is, you know, being covered. Boom, boom. So, in both of the forms of what you're doing, so if I was to Pak here, right, Pak down, from here, I would go from here, and then go right up there. That's a normal double Pak south for JKD, or Yu Fuk Yi, however people like to pronounce the word, anyways. But yeah, you'd Pak, and you would strike, being able to work that area. Just the same, you can ton, and then Pak, but then, again, I said it in wrong. In the beginning, anyways, you would Pak and then ton, and then strike, palm strike. You know, in the beginning, your normal Yu Fuk Yi is a Pak, of course, but it's part of your Siu Lim Tao already. You're going to Pak, ton, and strike, of course. Double Paks out, using the same hand for a blocking system, more basically, and then work yourself on in there. Anyways, you still can ton and Pak, and then work yourself on in there either way. But a lot of good stuff going over that, just trying to get people to understand, you know, yeah, you know, I've dealt with a lot of crazy people already. They don't like the idea of me teaching because periodically, you know, they want to make their money, and I'm doing what I'm doing to teach people. But just spreading, I guess, what I'm doing so people know I do know what I'm doing. It helps them, because then you let the experts do the explanation and talk like, well, yeah, he might know what he's talking about, but we don't like him, I guess. Or maybe they just don't want to talk about it, but that's their problem. It's not mine. A lot of them are libtards, a bunch of liberals, leftists, Democrat, communistic. Not a lot of people are constitutionalists, conservative, like I am, patriotic person. But whatever, the problem is that they don't really like people like us at all, just like they didn't like people getting, you know, all the glory for things back in 2016 elections. You know, they do all that crazy fucking shit. They play these little fucking games. They play y'all. They know who the fuck you are. But now I can explain, you know, Siu Lim Tao and give it a little bit more justice to y'all. You know, that's kind of what I want to do, is kind of get people to get that idea. But just understand, we have a political situation we deal with, and I'm not changing my positioning. I ain't faking it. I ain't gonna go be like, well, I'm a Buddhist. Okay? And you should respect me because I'm within Buddhism, and I have more Buddhism power than you do, and decorate my house and whatever, and do whatever rituals and whatever. Yeah, there's not a lot of, I'm more Buddhist, I'm more Shaolin, I'm more Chinese than you are, or Japanese, whatever. You know, so that's their fucking problem, it's not mine. But I like talking about things. You know, one of the good things I try to tell people is, yeah, I'm not specifically just teaching anything. I'm teaching exactly the JKD and Wing Chun shit. That is exactly what it is. And yeah, it's not just JKD, it's karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, other kind of stuff, because, you know, I build my own playground for myself. And that's why people come to see you, you know, of course, because you teach your own personal shit from what they teach. And they want to know what the fuck you know. So they come learn from me sometimes, you know. But then again, the whole idea of when you're starting to deal with other people who just want to express anger and have whatever not emotions, just want to understand how to express your martial arts in different ways, which is normal, which is good. You know, if you listen to the Bruce Lee interviews and things he talked about, Kung Fu, that'll kind of cover everything I gotta fucking say about their fucking issues. And if you haven't, you don't give a shit, that's not my fucking problem. I'm still a white male conservative, gun-owning, voting Trump motherfucker right now, and you can just fuck off. But anyways, it's healthy for you. It's a good exercise. It's good for expression. Even Tai Chi is good. You know, Tai Chi shows you, the flows, understanding your essence of your body, no matter how young or old you are. It's still good for you. It helps you flow your body out. You can mix it up with your Wing Chun. Just like drunken boxing, you can mix that up too and create your own shit and have your own shit. But more basically, it's always going to be something more personal than it is just itself of what you're teaching and why people come in and see you, of course, because not everyone's ever going to understand when you kick their ass and you sit there and you tell them, well, yeah, that's the person who taught me. That guy right there in that video. That's the fucking guy. That's how I did that to you. I kicked your ass, and you didn't respect him, you didn't respect me, but you gave me a chance, but you didn't expect him to be my teacher. Of course not. A lot of good stuff there to get people riled up and pissed off about, but, I like to say stuff that makes people think. And anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. You enjoy yourselves, and just know, it does the body well to work out, of course. It's not bad at all, that's staying healthy for the year. And I'm 30 years old, man. I'm telling you. Life keeps on going, but Wing Chun, it's going to keep you in there every time. You're just going to continue understanding your positionings every time. Makes a lot more sense. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here and enjoy the Siu Lim Tao extras. I'm out of here.